Yo, what's up? The Fantasy NBA today is back. It is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. Sans hat, we will query in a second. I want to ask him about, I want to tell you about our awesome sponsor, Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season's in full swing. We're into the NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. They have the large selection of odds and everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info to prepare you for these wagers or investments. In between games, head over to BetOnline's casino. They have all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. Doc, what's up, man? Sans hat. I like the look, dude.
Well, I got a haircut, so now I don't have to cover up ever since COVID, dude, it's very, very rare that I've gotten a haircut. So I just wear hats.
How long do you let it go? Do you let it go like, down the, I mean, are you rocking a mullet up there in Dahlonega?
Like, it's always like fly out to the side, curl. It's just a mess. It's always just a mess. So I cut it and straighten it up a little bit. I feel like I don't have to have the hat on. Congratulations to you on a big win in our WNBA showdown.
Let's go.
You were like, I dominated him on Twitter, and I was like, well, it's a WNBA league, so nobody cares. And like 3 people got upset at me, like, you're an idiot. We do care. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I was kidding. Of course I care. I don't care if it's a fantasy pickleball league. I want to.
But Doc, we can't joke anymore.
Yeah.
We can't. I don't put jokes out on Twitter. It could be the funniest damn joke of all time. Somebody's like, you think you're a comedian now? That sucks so bad. Anyway, who cares, right? We know that there's trolls on Twitter.
So anyway, I no offense if you love the WNBA. I also am very interested in the WNBA, and I'm very interested to see what happens with Caitlin Clark out for the next 2 weeks. And what are they going to do without their Angel versus Caitlin trash talk every day? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Hopefully, how about, I said this on the WNBA show earlier, talk basketball. Just talk basketball. You don't need to make it. I'm not saying it's to you. I'm saying it's to the asshat talking heads, right? This does not have to be a racial issue. We do not have to stoke racial tensions here. It can just be best rebounder in the sport, best passer in the sport, played against each other in college, drafted together. Fucking A. That's all it has to be. I think personally, Doc, right now is the greatest player-for-player rivalry in all of sports. Unless you can provide me with a better one right now, or think about it for 3 days and tell me, because I thought about it. And I'm not even talking about racial tension and clickbait and all the stupid stuff that all these people say. I'm saying the history between these ladies, playing against each other in college, Angel winning a ring, Caitlin not, Caitlin being the all-time scorer. They're in the same draft. They don't like each other. They have completely diametrically opposed games. Like, it's all perfect for a rivalry. They're hard fouling each other. They're talking shit about each other. It's as good as it gets, bro. So let's just enjoy that. It does not need to be parlayed into a racial conversation because one is white and one is black. Guess what? There's tons of white people and black people. It doesn't have to be this collision of race. Anyway, I talk about a lot of that stuff on the Fantasy WNBA today, which I have just retweeted out on my timeline at Rick Kamla Sports. You can go check it. Not right now, you're watching us live, but a little later on today, peep that and you will like it. I go into the Caitlin Clark thing, Doc, and it's a DeWanna Bonner thing, and a Sophie Cunningham thing, and a Lexi Hall thing. Lexi Hall was already starting for DeWanna Bonner, so DeWanna Bonner I believe now will re-enter the starting 5, but all 3 of those ladies are going to do more, and I think Aaliyah Boston's going to go crazy right now. All right, let's talk NBA fantasy here, Doc. We today are in our top 90. We're going to go 81 to 90 on this show. Okay, we're going all the way to 120. And so we're talking about all the studs over the course of this. Pardon me. And asking, do these rankings represent this player? And at next year's drafts, are we thinking about fading, reaching, or drafting at value? So we're going to put it in those prisms for all of these guys. Jimmy Butler gets us started here, Doc. And these are based, the first ranking I'm going to give you is based on 8 cat totals. He's at 81. 8 cat per game, 57. 9 cat total, 71. And he played in only 55 games here, Doc. So does this ranking or any of these rankings represent Jimmy Butler?
Do any of them? Yeah, one of them does. Probably the 71 for me. But where he's going to be drafted in drafts, it's going to be 57 or better. Jimmy Butler still carries a huge name with him. There's still guys out there who are not afraid, and gals, who are not afraid to take a Jimmy Butler. But I don't think you and I are drafting Jimmy Butler. Like, I don't want Jimmy Butler on my team, even though he played so much better and so much more like we were expecting once he got to Golden State. I really don't have a problem with what Jimmy did when he got to Golden State, but he's still Jimmy Butler. He's getting older still, and I will not have him on any of my teams next year.
All right, Doc. I agree with everything you said. I mean, he played 55 games. Will the games played go up in Golden State? I think. But I wouldn't take it to the bank. Doc, I think Doc said he's going to be a year older. So what's he going to be, Doc? 30 is next year his age 37 season? I know it's
that's what I was going to check out.
I know it's at least his age 36 season. I think it might be his age 37 season.
I think it is too. We're about to find out here in 5, 4, 3, 2. Jimmy Butler is 35 right now. He'll be 36 by the time the season starts.
All right, so that will be his age 36 season. I actually think Jimmy Butler's going to have a really sharp PRA. I think he's going to have a fantastic PRA. Around 20 points, around 5-6 boards, around 5-6-7 assists. I think he's going to have an absolutely terrific PRA. I think he's going to be a pretty good steal guy. 1.3, 1.4. The 3-ball game has never really been Jimmy's thing. Maybe he gives you one. He'll block 0.7 shots. I don't know, whatever it is, Doc. It's nominal, but, he used to be an elite steal guy. Now he's a good steal guy. I think the numbers are going to be good. I really do. And so it's weird. It's almost like you need to segment this player. 8 cat per game ranking of 57, I don't think is too far off based on PRA and steals. Okay. But I just don't trust him to play games. And he's gone Hollywood, and he's too cool for me. And I'm not even talking about then a personality thing, like I don't like who Jimmy's become. I'm talking about it in how that change to me has impacted him as a basketball player. He used to be the hardest working guy in the NBA, the guy with the Bulls that was drafted late in the draft from Marquette, and the hard-working bulldog underdog that had to fight and claw for everything that he got at every turn of his life, right? And he's just gotten cool. And so he's not working as hard now. I mean, his body looks great, don't get me wrong, but he's not fighting through injury. He's not like, I got to play tonight. He's like, I'm made. Probably a future Hall of Famer on a max contract. I don't have to play tonight. I can take tonight off. Because when you get to that level, you have the ability to do that. Role players can't take nights off, guys. Stars can, but there's too many nights off. So I don't trust it. So in actuality, Doc, none of these rankings represent this player because I'm just not in the Jimmy Butler business. But again, I think statistically by averages, which is where I live, 57 isn't too far off. It's just, are you going to get 55 games, 49 games, 67 games? I don't want to play that game. So let's go to Quentin Grimes here, Doc. 82 was his 8 cat total ranking. 82. His 8 cat per game was 124. His 9 cat total ranking was 94. He played 75 games. Does this ranking represent this player, and how are you viewing him for next year?
I mean, he's still a mystery, right? He was in Dallas for the first half of the year. 10 points, 4 boards, just kind of a bunch of nothing. He wasn't on any fantasy teams. He didn't need to be. He gets traded to Philadelphia, and all of a sudden, bam, 22 points a game, 5 boards, 4.5 dimes, a steal and a half, and 3 3-pointers a game. So he was awesome for the 76ers this year. Now, for the 76ers this year, Paul George in and out of the lineup and out more than in. Joel Embiid missing in action almost all year. Tyrese Maxey didn't play down the stretch. And they were just a weird, banged up, horrible team that was tanking. So I don't know. It depends on what Philadelphia does next year. Like, Quentin Grimes was certainly one of the biggest surprises and one of the best surprises we had in fantasy this year. But I think going into next year, he's nothing more than a late round flyer again, unless he lands, unless something drastic happens this summer.
If we find out even if we find out Joel Embiid's not going to start the season on time, you said late round flyer. I'm like, is he a waiver wire guy or is he a late round flyer? If we see some preseason boxes, Doc, and he's in the starting 5 with Paul George, with Maxey, if he's in that starting 5, I'm like, okay, they have a plan for this guy. He's going to play. And he's not going to do what he did last year with 44s and 46s with Maxey and George. But he could still score 15 and have some pretty good goodies, 2.5 threes, maybe a steal 0.2 per game. He could be decent. So I'm okay with late round flyer, dude. If Embiid is in there, I don't like it as much. But if he's going to be like that 4th starter or maybe the 5th starter, kind of like a Max Strus in Cleveland, I have interest. But it's very, very, very late. No, these rankings do not represent Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes was a silly season hero in a tank job by Philadelphia. And so there's nothing about that we can assume will be duplicatable next year. George will be back. Maxey will be back. The team will be trying to win again. And he won't be, pardon me. He was the number 1 guy. He's at best is going to be the 4th best scoring option. I would even put Kelly Oubre above him if Kelly Oubre decides to come back. I believe Kelly Oubre has a player option at $8 million. And if I were Kelly, I would pick that up and come back and play for Nick Nurse, who starts you and loves you. But those are my 2 cents. This one is just weird. Number 83, Tyus Jones. I was looking at this list on Andre's Rundown. I'm like, Tyus Jones was 83rd in 8 cat totals. So what this told me is if I'm going to play in roto leagues, I got a lot to learn about the valuation difference from head-to-head leagues and category leagues to total, to rotisserie leagues, right? But he's 83rd. His 8 cat per game is 153, and his 9 cat total ranking is 77. He played 81 games. So, Doc, does this ranking represent Tyus Jones?
Depends on what kind of league you're in, I guess. Because in head-to-heads, he wasn't even really worth having around. So, I think we sort of expected bigger and better things from Tyus Jones because he sort of was the de facto point guard in Phoenix. Devin Booker's not really a point guard. Bradley Beal's not a point guard, but they sort of just rolled with Booker at point guard. It meant Tyus Jones was coming off the bench a lot of the time. But, I'm a head-to-head guy. I think you're a head-to-head guy. So I doubt you and I are going to be too dialed into what Tyus Jones is doing for next year.
The other thing is it a guarantee that Tyus Jones plays, 81 games? Is it a guarantee he plays that much? Because So much of this 8-cat total value comes from the volume of games played, which is awesome. But I really, with none of these guys, you can rely. I mean, Jason Tatum just blew out his Achilles. He's always been one of the best availability guys. An injury like this can happen to any player at any time. So, you know what I mean? All of his value, literally all of his value came from the volume of games. But we can't be promised that will happen next year. Also, we don't know where Tyus Jones is playing next year, and I believe that he will be somebody's backup point guard. I believe he will be somebody's TJ McConnell, somebody's really, 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 really kick-ass backup point guard, just like he was behind Ja Morant in Memphis.
I feel like he's had about 3 strikes. Like, I feel like we've been given Tyus Jones false alarms, like, oh, this is the year he's going to go off in fantasy, and it just never happens. And here's the thing, dude. He played in 81 games, right? That's great. 10 points, 5 assists, 2.5 rebounds, 2 threes, and almost he only had 1.1 turnovers. So all of that looks really, really good. If you look at a 9-cat league or an 8-cat league, just because of the games played. But if you're starting him at head-to-head lineup and he's scoring 10 points with 5 assists, and then the rest of it's just kind of whatever, he's also you're getting beat in your head-to-head league. So you really have to figure out who you're listening to, what information you're getting, and break it down to your league. Like, it's really important.
Doc, Tyus Jones got messed with by Coach Bud last year with playing time because they promised him a starting spot in Phoenix to get him to go there on a veteran minimum deal. He started 58 games. Okay, so there was really good playing time here for him. He averaged 26.8 minutes per game. He played 27 minutes a game. So even including late in the year when his playing time was kind of weird and that kind of stuff, he still got a decent shot with Phoenix here. You mentioned the 10 and 5. Okay, 10 and 5 is nothing to sneeze at. It's doubles. It's 5 dimes. It's okay. But next year, I think he's going to be back down to 21, 20, 19, 18 points per game. I don't see him with Washington when he had his breakout year. He was at 29 minutes a game. This year, 27. They're by far the highest minutes years of his career. I think he will sign on with a contending type of team as a really kick-ass backup point guard, play between 17 and 21 minutes, and he will be gone and forgotten in fantasy. And he will be, if the starter gets hurt, boom, Doc and Cam and Brew are talking about him on the Fantasy NBA today as the run, don't walk pickup of the week. But as it stands right now, I will not be drafting Tyus Jones, assuming, again, that he will be a backup point guard. Let's move on to Scotty Pippen Jr. here, Doc, at 84 in 8-cat total ranking, 146 in 8-cat per game ranking, 9-cat total ranking of 98. He played 79 games. Does this ranking represent Scotty Pippen Jr.?
Yes. Here's my thing about Pippen. Like, if you end up with Ja Morant on your team, which I don't think Rick or I will, you want Scottie Pippen on your team as well. And Scottie Pippen, I wish Scottie Pippen played for a different team where he could get more run. I wish he would have been, I think you put Scottie Pippen where Tyus Jones was last year, and Scottie Pippen goes off. I think Scottie Pippen is a really, really good player, but he's not going to be able to shine behind Desmond Bane and Ja Morant. So I think his ranking is somewhere, I don't know, somewhere closer to, 110, 115. Get him at the end of your draft and just keep him around for insurance.
It's tough, dude. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Coach Izolo at the end of the year was starting Scotty Pippen Jr. That is my recollection of how the playoffs went for Memphis. With, of course, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey. I kind of think they're going to rock that way. I don't really see Memphis making a ton of moves. I believe Luke Kennard, his contract is run out. Vince Williams didn't have it this year. I think Scotty Pippen Jr. has a very good chance. Pardon me, to remain in that starting five and get some goodies. And dude, the thing about Scotty Pippen Jr. is I love his stat set. So I want to go back to the previous year, not this year. This year he was at 10 points, 4.5 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.1 threes. The year before, and it was a small sample size, but he played 25 minutes. He averaged 13 points, 5 dimes, 1.7 steals, 1.4 threes. And he was like a late season pickup or whatever, and pretty hot pickup in fantasy leagues because John Moran, of course, hates the game and never plays. So Doc, if he starts, okay, let me look up Pippen Jr.'s numbers and starts here real quick because
I was going to say if he's locked into the starting unit for Memphis at the start of this next season, then he's a guy that we're probably going to see some hype building and people are going to want him.
Bro,
as a starter, he went off, dude.
Bro, 14 points, 4.5 boards, 5.7 assists, shot 56%. No, pardon me, 52.6%. Still amazing. 46% on threes. He had 35 steals in 21 games, which is almost 2 a game. Okay? Dude, this guy, he is a fantasy gold guy. And I think Isolot's going to start him, dude. So I'm in on Scottie Pippen Jr. next year. Like I'm not gonna reach. I'm not gonna fade. I will draft him at value. And do I feel comfortable at 84? Feels a little high, Doc. It feels a little high. Top 100. I'll rock with you on top 100 player for Scottie Pippen Jr. 84 feels a little bit high. Feels again. It's the 8-cat total ranking, which is billowed by the games played of 79. Where I live is points per game categories head to head. But he's top 100 guy for me, Doc. I would be happy to have Scottie Pippen Jr. as one of my bench guards on a 12 team league.
Yeah, and I'm with you. And like you said, if he's starting, he's the guy I want on my team. And we know John Morant probably ain't gonna make it through the whole season, so that's a kind of a double whammy win for Pippen because he can start at shooting guard, and then when Ja's not playing, he can play full minutes at point guard.
So there's upside there. There's the regular value, and there's the upside, knowing that Ja's going to miss 20 or 30 games. So in those 20 or 30 games, you're going to have an absolute rock star in Scottie Pippen Jr. drafted in your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th round. Devin Vassell is up next, Doc, at 85. So that's 85 8-cat total, 96 8-cat per game, 78 is his 9-cat total rankings. That's all pretty static, within 78 to 96. Games played were 64. Does this ranking represent Devin Vassell?
I mean, it probably does. The problem I have with Devin Vassell is the games played year after year, 62, 71, 38, 68, 64. He only played 64 games last year. So the fact that he was able to get a ranking as high as 85 with only playing 64 games is pretty impressive. But it's because the numbers are good. 16 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, a steal, almost a steal and a half, 2.5 3-pointers, pretty good percentages. And he's a good player. Like, I am a Devin Vassell guy, but man, I don't know if I can keep on doing it because now San Antonio has a lot of guys. They've got Chris Paul. They've got Julian Champagnie. They've got Keldon Johnson. They've got Vassell. They got Stephon Castle. They got Sohan. There's just a lot of guys. They got Blake Wesley who can play. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but I feel like Vassell is one of the best ones out of that group. So, if I knew going into the season that they were just going to roll with Castle and Vassell and Wemby and not mess with everybody. I'd like Vassell a lot more, but between the rotation questions and the injury concerns, I'm probably not going to be drafting Vassell this next year.
Yeah, there's downside here, guys, with Devin Vassell. I think the most appropriate ranking here is probably the 8 cat per game of 96. 85 is still way too high. That's like round, I don't know, was that round 7 or 8? Doc, nah, not for me, not that high. I'm probably taking a shot blocking 3-point hitting big at that point. I think he's a top 100 player. But Doc, last year his scoring went from 19 to 16. His assists went from 4.1 to 2.9. And you have Castle and Fox. I know Chris Paul had a lot to do with that, but next year you're going to have Fox and Castle. And Wemby's 5 dimes a game. So, I mean, that number's maybe going to get to 3. It was a 1.3 steals, which is a good number. 2.5 3 balls. The games played is an issue. And the declining scoring is an issue. So his PRA, Doc, was 16, 4, and 3. Okay. I'm not crazy about that. That's some Tobias Harris shit. I'm sorry. And his steals and threes are better than Tobias. I'd rather have Devin Vassell than Tobias Harris, but that's some Tobias Harris-y stuff right there, and I ain't into that. So I'm going to fade next year in the draft. And like I said, top 100 guy, that's the best I can do for Devin Vassell as we sit here right now. 86, Doc, is your guy, Norman Powell. Norman Powell. There's been like 800 Storm and Normans, by the way. I should. Anyway, 86, that's 8 cat total ranking, 8 cat per game, 81, 9 cat total ranking of 87. He's played 64 games. I'm not sure I've seen a guy with the rankings that close. 86, 81, and 87. That's pretty wild. Do any of these rankings represent this player?
Yeah, I think it does. Now, the only problem is he only played in 64 games. And we have to keep in mind that when, now I got Storm and Norman Nixon stuck in my head, dude. Norm Nixon. Norm Powell was really, really good. It was when Kawhi Leonard sat out for the first part of the season. And if you look at Norman Powell's pre-All-Star stats, 24 points, almost 4 boards, over 2 assists, over a steal, 3.5 threes a game. His post All-Star run, which was only 15 games because of the injury, but it was much different guy. 14 points, 1.9 threes, bad field goal percentage compared to what he did the first half. And it was just kind of a tale of 2 seasons for Norm. So my gut tells me that this past year was the year that you really wanted Norm Powell on your team. I think going forward, if Kawhi Leonard's going to stay healthy and the Clippers are going to be, really good with Zubac being really good and Harden being very good and Kawhi Leonard being there, then Powell slides back into being more of a role player than a premier scorer like he was for, over half the season. So I still like Powell. I wouldn't be afraid to take Powell. At some point in my draft, round 8, round 9 sounds good. But I'm not going to go into this season all fired up about him like I did last year if Kawhi Leonard's healthy.
You missed the party. If you weren't in on Norm last year, you missed the party. And the party's over, and now reality sets in and hangovers set in. You talked about pre and post. I want to go month by month scoring. October, 25. November, 22. December, 25. January, 24. February, 25. I mean, cooking. All-star buzz, the whole thing. And then March happened. 14. April happened. 14. All right, in March, in 9 games, he went 14, 2, and 2. He had 1 steal a game and 2 threes per game. That's just north of the waiver wire, if not smack dab on the waiver wire. In April, 14, 2, and 1 was his PRA. shot 41%, not that I care. He was less than a steal per game and like 1.7 threes per game. Guys, he's not a common player. He's a very good player. He's a champion. Almost made the All-Star team this year. He's not a common player. But on this team, with Kawhi, with Zoo, and with Harden, he's a common player. He's a role player. Gone are the days of 20, 21, 22. He won't even approach that next year if everybody stays healthy. He'll be in the teens. He'll be at 14, 15, 16, maybe 17. Okay? I bet you Zubats outscores him. Certainly Harden and Kawhi will outscore him. So this was the year to have Norman Powell. And then one more just sort of cherry on top, Doc. You know, one of my favorite angles is fading a guy coming off of a career year, especially when the career year, if the career year is a part of like a gradual ascension for like a young hotshot, like maybe Ant-Man, like I'm not going to say, oh, I'll never take him because that was a career. That's different. It's a career year, but you keep building on it. But a guy like Norman Powell, who's been in the league a long time, to have a spike year like that out of nowhere, that's the career year I'm talking about. I mean, he went from 19 points a game to 17 points a game to 14 points a game to 22 points per game. That he will never do that again. All right. That was his career year. We'll always think back to 24-25 when Norman Powell had his career year. Maybe we won't all be thinking that, but it was his career year. Fade.
So I understand everything you're saying, and I agree with it generally speaking. What I disagree with is that you named all those months where he was putting up big numbers. Kawhi was playing for several of those. I think what really slowed Powell down was the injury situation that he had, and he never came back at full strength, and he never looked like the same guy again. There were times that he coexisted with Zubac and Harden and Kawhi, and they all played well, and they were rolling, and he was still scoring, but it was way harder for him to keep scoring those big points. The better Kawhi got, the worse Norman Powell got. So you're right. He is trending down, but I think he's going to be better than 14 a game next year. I think we'll see.
Pardon me. You tell me that he's going to score 18 points a game next year. I'm not mad at you. He might get up that high. I don't think he's getting higher than that. I think it'll be between 14 and 18 for Norm Powell. So, all right, let's move on here, Dr. A. Let's go to 87 here. Isaiah Hartenstein. This is 8-cat total ranking of 87. 8-cat per game, 72. 9-cat total ranking, 85. Again, relatively static here. He played in only 57 games. Does this ranking represent Isaiah Hartenstein?
You know what's wild about Hartenstein is he's been in a league since 2019, and he's played for 6 different teams. Like he is already a journeyman, but he's a really talented journeyman. To answer your question, 87, 72, 85, those are all pretty close as well. Yeah, I think those are all fair. That's a fair spot for Hartenstein to be ranked. He did have a career year. He averaged 11.2 points and 10.7 boards. Those are both career highs. 1.1 blocks, almost a steal. No threes. His field goal percentage was down a little bit this year, but I think that's a fair place to put Hartenstein, especially when he has to play next to Chet Holmgren.
So, Doc, yeah, I agree with. Yeah, I'm okay with this. This is, again, you know, that whether it's 87, 72, 85, this is where I'm looking to get like bargain bigs more than bargain smalls, because this is the zone where like the bigs kind of end right here. Like the last guys that kind of entice you and that have like good or decent stats are here. And then as you get to like the 90s, the 100s, now there's smalls available, but the bigs aren't available anymore. They're real reaches and real like, I just don't want that guy. So this is kind of, yeah, I do think this ranking represents this player. This is kind of that zone where I'm looking to get a Brook Lopez, where I'm looking to get a Walker Kessler, where I'm looking to get an Alex Sarr, looking to get a Hartenstein. I think, Doc, it was very encouraging. I love the point that you made about the career highs. And I was kind of worried, wow, he's got to share time with Shed. Is he going to sap his stats and all this kind of stuff? I'm just going to look at his last 3 months when I didn't like, I think this pretty much overlapped with Chet. I mean, dude, when it was non-Chet, dude, it was 14-14-4 in November. It was 12-12-4 in December. It was 9-12-5 in January. And then Chet joined the party. And in February, it was 10-9-3. Okay. In March, it was 12-9-3.5. All right. And in April, it was 9-9-3.5. I think playing time might have dipped there. He only played 4 games. But you get my point. Like, I'm still rocking with what he's doing, even in the February, March, April months where he had to share with Chet. In those months, Doc, he is still right at a block per game, right at a steal per game. Clearly, he does more and is more valuable when Chet is out. But my concerns with that have been diminished. And I would rather have all of those guys that I previously said, Kessler, Lopez, all these other guys, because they're more elite in blocks and threes. All right. But I'll mess with Isaiah Hartenstein. He'd probably be the last of that group for me. And I might even take him over Walker Kessler because of fear of like shutdowns in Utah and that kind of thing. So that's the zone he would be in. And that's what I got on Isaiah Hartenstein. So let's move on here, Doc, to number 88 in 8-cat total ranking. It is Malik Beasley. His 8-cat per game ranking was 165, 9-cat total ranking of 80. He played all 82 games. Do any of these rankings represent Malik Beasley to you?
I don't feel like 165 is right, and I don't feel like 88 is probably right. It's somewhere in between those two. Now, you and I both liked Beasley as 6th man of the year. He played in all 82 games. I felt like he was more than just a 3-point specialist, though. Felt like he was doing stuff that was helping fantasy teams, and he wasn't going to win you a championship, but he wasn't going to hurt your team. The big mystery about this coming season, though, is how many people how many people will he have to fight for to get shots up? Because you got Cade Cunningham. I don't know. Hardaway's probably not coming back, but you got Hardaway. You got Sarah Thompson. You got Ron Holland. You got Dennis Schroeder. You got Marcus Sasser. You've got Jaden Ivey coming back from a huge injury this season. So we don't really know exactly what Detroit is going to look like. But I do know that if I get late in my draft and I need a 3-point shooter, I will gladly take Beasley again because he was fun this year.
I can't play the career year theory card because he had a 19.6 with Minnesota back in 2021. It felt like a career year. He was top 3 in threes made. He was my choice for 6th man of the year. I think he had a more important year than Peyton Pritchard did. He was at 16.3, Doc, and 3.9 threes, which is amazing. We don't know where he's going to play next year. He is a free agent. Could be back with Detroit, could not be back with Detroit. If I were Detroit, I would try to bring him back and I would cast Tim Hardaway Jr. adrift. It would be Ivy starting with Osar, with Cade, with Tobias, and with Duran. And that's a pretty damn good starting 5. But now I'm bringing Beasley off my bench again, which obviously was his role this year. He started 18 games, but that would remain static for him. You would have Ron Holland. You would have Isaiah Stewart. And I can't remember. I think Schroeder's a free agent, but I can't remember. But anyway, like I like that arrangement. Like if I'm Detroit, I want to keep that. Like the city of Detroit loves Malik. He loves the city of Detroit. He has swaggy celebrations after 3 balls, which I think is cool. Like sometimes he even forgets to run back on defense, which I think is totally dope. I know coaches hate that, but there's so many times he does that like little hip wiggle after a 3, and then he's got to sprint his what's off to get down the court so his coaches doesn't scream at him. You know how coaches are with transition defense, right? Like they're all about it. Stan Van Gundy talks about it every single broadcast. Yeah, he's a great scorer, but when you look at the tape, his transition defense is a nightmare, right? SVG's always hitting us with that. Schroeder is a UFA, by the way. All right, anyway, let me reel it in right here. My thoughts on Beasley. If he's back in Detroit in the same role that he's in right now, he's still a fade for me. 4 threes a game from Malik Beasley. I'm getting Dante DiVincenzo vibes. Like, can you do that again? I don't think you can. 165 is too deep. 88's way too high. So maybe he's a top 120 guy for me, Doc. Maybe 12-team league. That's 10th round. He's not even a top 120 guy. I'm gonna say he to me. He's just not even a top 120 guy. I'll leave it at that. He probably won't. Look, he's not a PRA guy. He's not a defensive stat guy. He puts points in and he puts threes in. And that's it, okay? So that dude's a specialist. I don't take specialists until very late in the draft, if at all. All right, 89, Doc, is Shaedon Sharpe. 89 is his 8-cat total ranking. 8-cat per game, 128. 9-cat total ranking of 119. He played 72 games for the Blazers. Does this ranking represent Shaedon Sharpe?
I think. Wow, kind of tongue-tied right now. Yes. The thing about Shaedon Sharpe is he's only been in the league for 3 years. He's gotten better with each year. He went from 9.9 points up to 15.9 points, up to 18.5 this year. His field goal percentage went up from 40 to 45 last year to this year. So that's a huge improvement. He's a pretty decent free throw shooter, and his turnovers actually went down this year, and he made it through 72 games. So he's played 80 in his first season, 32 in his second, and then 72 this year. So there's a lot of flaws to his game that hurt his fantasy rankings, but there's so much upside. And is Portland going to let him play? Like, I'm happy to take Shaedon Sharpe in like round 8, 9, or 10. I'm good with it.
I am not, my friend. Chauncey Billups found something with Jeremy Grant, Denny Abdia, and Toumani Camara with a big, Ayton, most likely, and Simons. So if Shaedon were going to start, let's say they trade Jeremy Grant. Okay, we'll have that conversation. But he's on the team right now. So Shaedon will be coming off the bench with Scoot Henderson. That's going to cap his value. Andre's asking if Anthony Simons is finally moved, can Sharpe take a massive leap? Yes, that's what we need to happen. But if Anthony Simons is still there, then Sharpe is going to surge maybe late in the year when guys get shut down and all this kind of stuff. But no, I will most likely be out on Shaedon Sharpe. Again, I'm thinking, 120 picks, that's 10 rounds. Like, am I going all the way to 120? Am I taking Shaedon Sharpe? Maybe 9th or 10th round. Maybe. There's got to be, I believe that there's going to be more like pop upside, more like, yeah, that's it. I call them shiny. Like, and they're not shiny for everybody. It's your shine. Like, do they shine for you? Because they just have that gloss. Shaedon Sharpe doesn't have that gloss if he's coming off the bench. So I would say representative of him would be his 9-cat total rank of 119, 8-cat per game rank of 128. I'm okay there. I like that. 89 for his 8-cat total? Nope. I don't think that represents this player. All right, finally here, Doc, it is Cason Wallace at 90. 8 cat total ranking. 8 cat per game is 120. 9 cat total ranking 76. Games played 68. Does this ranking represent Cason Wallace?
I'm not taking him at 90. I like Cason Wallace, man. He's a glue guy for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's very important to their team, and he put up pretty good fantasy numbers for who he is and what he does, because he's not one of those highlight reel guys, and he doesn't score a ton of points, so it's hard. He has to find other ways to make his productivity happen. But to me, he's sort of like these other guys we've been talking about, like Malik Beasley. Like Beasley, I feel like you kind of missed the party last year, just sort of like Norman Powell. Cason Wallace, I don't think you missed the party. I think the party's going to keep on rolling. I'd be more comfortable, I think, taking Cason Wallace with a late pick than I would be like a Beasley. Like I feel like Wallace is good enough and proven himself enough that I think he's going to be pretty good for a long time. So 11th round, 12th round, give me Cason Wallace.
11th or 12th round, I'm smelling what you're cooking. I can't get with, he's not a top 120 guy for me. And I know the numbers say differently than this, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Stat sets are different for all of us fantasy managers. And I'm looking at Cason here. And Andre's asking, Andre Lemush, the best producer in the business, what will it take for Cason to become a consistent top 90 or better fantasy player? Andre, I hate to say this, but you asked a question, I will answer you. A rash of injuries is how that happens for Cason Wallace. And I don't want any of those injuries to happen, but short of that, they're going to add Toppich to the mix next year. Their rookie lottery pick this year. They're going to add him to the mix. You have Wiggins, you have Joe, you have all these guys. I mean, Cason Wallace's stat line, this is just gross and ugly to me. This is like a 30 deep guy, right? Like a guy like Cason Wallace to me, like, yeah, I want him deep in a 30 deep scenario. Just because you just want dudes that are playing a lot and just counting numbers, and they don't have to be spectacular players. You just need guys that get minutes, okay? 8.4 points, yuck. 3.4 rebounds, yuck. 2.5 assists, yuck. 1.8 steals, okay, that's elite. 1.13s, yuck. Shot, I mean, the shooting is great. That's where a lot of his value comes from. 49% as a rookie, 47% this year. I mean, that's hot shot stuff. He played almost 28 minutes a game this year. No, he is off my radar, and that's just is what it is. I mean, I've got four guys from OKC are on my radar: Hartenstein, SGA, Chet, and J-Dub. And other than that, they're all role players and that kind of, like even Lou Dort. I don't mess with Lou Dort in fantasy. He's in foul trouble all the time, and in a defense I love Lou Dort. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not a fantasy guy for me. So I would say, Doc, that I am going to fade entirely Cason Wallace, and I don't believe that any of those rankings represent him. All right, before we move on here to our playoff check-in with Pacers and Knicks, I want to bring a Wemby update here from Shams Charania, Doc. He says Victor Wembanyama has been doing some on-court stuff. From everything I hear, the Spurs fully expect him to be ready to go for the start of training camp. That's amazing news for the Spurs and the NBA. Shams Charania of ESPN. Doc, we needed to see this in the fantasy world, okay? We have not gotten a expectation quote yet from the Spurs. We just got it. And you think about Dame's quick recovery. Osar had blood clots. He's back. His playing time ramped up as the season went on, and had a lot of really, really good moments. So my concerns with Victor are starting to really wash away, bro. I got to be honest. You know me. I'm not always super reactive to news, but sometimes news hits me and I'm like, yo, that's important right there. I think that's an important blurb right there from Shams Charania. How about you?
Yeah, for sure. I thought you said initially, like, they're going to tell us that Wemby's good to go for camp, and I'm still not in. I'm still taking Jokic. I'm still taking
Why you got to bring up old stuff?
Well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, dude. I mean, it really wasn't. I'm not saying you're
I know.
you're being wishy-washy, because you're not. You're genuinely excited to hear that update.
I
Um,
am.
but I wonder if you're still going to be leery on draft day.
Well, that's why you're my brother, and that's why you're the best, man. It's a great return of service back over the net, Rafael Nadal style. Here's my lingering concern. All right, am I concerned that Wemby is like not going to start the season? I'm not. I think that concern. I'm not concerned about that. My concern, Doc, is playing time in season. Do they lower his minutes? Do they rest him more because of this? And that concern will not be eliminated until or unless we get to the regular season and see how they work it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say at this point, Wemby's fourth for me. And I'm working on you and I are working on our top 50s right now, and I'm pretty close to done. Let me go to it right now. Where do I have Wemby? Do I have Wemby at? I have Wemby at 4. So Jokic, SGA, Doncic, Wemby, and I feel good about that. I do, because I'm not worried about Doncic, SGA playing time and all that. I'm just not. They're going to play a million games in a million minutes. Wemby, again, are they going to kid glove him in his first year after the blood clot? So I got Wemby at 4.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to have him, because I haven't done my rankings yet, and I need to do those soon. But you're right. You just think about the Alcere Thompson thing and how long it took him to get his minutes finally ramped up to where we needed them. I mean, it took a long time, and you don't know if that's because physically that's the way it had to be, or if because Detroit was treading on eggshells with him and being super careful. And we don't really know how the San Antonio medical staff is going to deal with Wemby. So there is tons of risk there. And if he's playing 24 minutes a night and getting no back-to-backs, do I really want that guy as my number one pick? So yeah, there's a lot to think about there.
But would I take Wemby over Anthony Davis or Giannis or Hallie or Edwards? I'm probably taking Wemby over those guys. I feel we got a lot of time between now and draft day and stuff, but that's where I got Wemby right now, and I feel good about him at number 4. All right, playoff check-in here, Doc. I'll let you go first, man. Pacers and Knicks. Obviously, we have Game 4 coming up tonight here, Doc. Game 3 was the Cat comeback game on Sunday with 20-8 in the fourth quarter of that narrow win by New York. Game 4 is tonight. Talk to me, man. Blank canvas. What you got?
Yeah, I've taken 2 rough losses in a row. I had the Pacers in that game, and then last night's game, I had Oklahoma City -3, and they won by 2. So you know what that means. That's a big L. But it's funny. We were saying through the first 3 games of this series, the word on the street is all the pressure is on New York. They're supposed to win this thing. The pressure's really not on the Pacers. Well, now the Pacers are in jeopardy of losing both of their home games, just like the Knicks did. And then all the momentum shifts, all the pressure's on the Pacers. And I think the pressure is on the Pacers tonight. So I'm still going with the Pacers -2.5. I feel that they need – this is a must-win game. I think whoever wins this game wins the series. It's going to go 7 games either way, probably. And it's just been super fun to watch. We were talking – I don't know that we've talked about it since last Tuesday's I think it was Tuesday night that happened, when Halliburton's shot hit the back of the rim, went all the way up and came all the way down. I was talking on the radio right before we did this. He's like, "What's another shot you can think of that reminded you of that?" And the only thing I could really come up with was Tiger Woods' chip on 16 at the Masters, when it rolled all the way down the hill, and Lundqvist or whoever that. The announcer's like, "Oh my," and it's hanging on the edge of the cup, and it just drops in. Like when that ball went straight over there, everybody just kind of stopped and was waiting to see what was going to happen. And it was one of those slow motion events. And also, I think Kawhi Leonard when he hit that game-winning shot for Toronto to win a chip a few years ago, that thing kind of rattled around for a while before it went down. But it's just been a remarkable series, and I'm really enjoying it.
What I would tell you is Don Nelson's heel shot in Game 7 of the '69 NBA Finals when Boston beat LA. That was Bill Russell's final game. And you remember Jack Kent Cooke, the owner of the Lakers, had balloons up in the rafters, and he had a whole like parade plan and like all the plans written out and stuff. And so that got to the Celtics, and that really pissed off the Celtics. And so the Celtics had some extra motivation for that game. But Don Nelson, I believe it was the top of the key two-pointer, and it went just bing up and down, and it was kind of the dagger shot in that game. But that's some old-timey historical stuff. All right, Doc. Couple thoughts for me on this game. Aaron Nesmith's game time decision. This is huge news. So he's obviously a critical player for this team. It was different after he left Game 3, and if he's not in there for Game 4, Brundog gonna go off. Okay. Game 3 was Cat's finest moment. It's his apex of NBA ball. He's never been better, never been more important. At the height of his superpowers, all of that. That was his Hall of Fame shining moment. Thibodeau benching Josh Hart for Mitchell Robinson. So far, so good. It hasn't activated these players, but it changed it up, and it gave the Pacers something else to think about. They will have an adjustment to that adjustment, though, in Game 4 tonight. Brunson's coming off of a down game, foul trouble, all that kind of stuff. This should be a big one, just like Games 1 and 2. Remember SGA, big in Games 1 and 2. Game 3 sucked, and then Game 4 he hit for 49 and 10. I think Brunson's going to have a big one tonight at Indianapolis. I hate his number, though. It's 29.5. You've sucked all the oxygen out of the room, Vegas, and screw you for that. Pacers need more Hallie magic to me, Doc, because he's just a magical player. They need more Hallie magic. That's how they win. And Nebhard has to be better. He was subpar in Game 3. Doc, I am on the New York Knickerbockers plus 2.5 tonight. They're 6-1 on the road in the playoffs. Their only loss was Game 5 at Boston. That was kind of a giveaway game because New York was up 3-1 at that point. And so they're the road warriors, the best road team in the NBA right now. And Indiana has a great home field advantage. And I always looked at the series as a 7-gamer and totally even and all that kind of stuff. So is one team really going to get up 3-1 on the other? I don't know. I'm going to go Knicks. I'm going to go Knicks plus the 2.5. You got any player props, Doc?
Not really. Nemhard's injury, though, is huge. But keep in mind, the Pacers were up 20 in that last game.
You mean Nesmith?
I mean Nesmith's injury. Nesmith, Nemhard, that's hard. Yeah, it's a big injury. He turned his ankle really pretty hard, pretty far. So if he plays, I feel like he's going to be limited. I think Brunson has to score 30 in this game for them to for the Knicks to win. So I'm going with the Brunson over, and I think Halliburton needs and is going to have a big game with his daddy back in the house. So I will take the Halliburton over as well. You
just won me over with those two. I like those because Hallie's at 21.5, Brundog's at 29.5, and the numbers don't support. Okay, they do for Brunson, but not for Halliburton. Halliburton's so flimsy with the up and down with the scoring, right? 21.5's a big point prop number for Hallie. But I like the dad in the house thing. I do. I think that matters. And the pressure, it's a gigantic game. And you're coming off a loss. I like Hallie over 21.5. I do. I'm digging that. And I like Knicks plus 2.5. If I'm going to like the Knicks plus 2.5, I should like Brunson over 29.5. I love the logic on that. The Knicks aren't winning this game if Brunson doesn't score 30. I think the Knicks are going to win this game. So that's what we do, man. It's what we do. Great minds coming together. And then I got a couple more for you here. Cat over 21.5 points. He's gone 24, 20, 35 in the series. I've got Nebhard over 11.5. He was 9 points on 2 of 9 in Game 3, 15 and 12 in the first 2 games. I've got Hart over 8.5 points. He was at 8 points and 34 minutes off the bench in Game 3. And I've got Miles Turner over 15.5 points. He's been at 14, 16, and 19 in this series, and he's due for a breakout game. He has shot 3 of 14 from 3 ball in this series. Guys, please go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to our work. It is the best content in the business. We have a grandfather program where if you get in now, you lock in your rate. And so when prices go up a little bit, you'll still have the same price. And download the app at your favorite app store, the Sports Ethos app. It will help you win. It's your ultimate tool, and we provide it to you for NBA, MLB, and NFL. The player blurbs out there are fantastic. Big shout out to our producer, Andre Lemouche. Shout out to my boy, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. We are the Fantasy NBA Today, and we will see you again on Wednesday with another episode. Peace.